Welcome back to another video, guys. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. I've got a head-to-head video for you today, and it's two blade irons, and there's a brand new Titleist 620MB, so the pure blade, and I'm going to put it up against maybe not an iron that's really renowned for a blade forged iron, but they have delivered a very good one, is the Ping Blueprint iron. So two pure blades, two forged irons. Let's put these head to head and see if there's any real sort of differences, and how maybe the underdog in the blade forged category in the Ping can go up against the real heavyweight and the long-term provider of a blade, pure blade iron in the way of the Titleist. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Ping Blueprint iron, so fully forged iron, pure blade, very small, compact head from heel to toe, thin top line, no offset literally at all there. So as I sort of maybe just mentioned there, Ping maybe not renowned for a forged blade iron, and they'll probably agree with that. Obviously massive renown for the cavity back iron, probably the first ever cavity back iron ever sort of produced, I think, years back. So very much a leader in that area. This is a sort of very niche market for them as a company. But having said that, the Blueprint, I was really impressed with it. I've done review videos. I'll put a little link up and go and check that out in a little bit more detail. It's very much aimed at that real good ball striker, that very experienced, skilled golfer. The sole is very, very thin. So it is quite a daunting club when you put that down by the golf ball. Obviously inspired very much by Louis Oosthuizen, which is one of their Ping tour players, in terms of its design of basically what they're looking for out on tour. Okay, so let's get this first one hit, 7-iron. It's 34 degrees of loft. Very high towering ball flight there, as you'd expect. This type of club, nice little opener there from the Ping, very close to the flag. Take that shot all day long. Very neutral in its flight, really high and towering, and that carried in at around 163. So we know these clubs aren't obviously going to be a long hitting golf clubs, but very much aimed around the control through the spin, the launch, and the descent angle. Again, lovely strike, just a little bit more that left side, catch that left edge maybe. Just going off that left edge. So as I mentioned in the review video, I was really quite impressed with the Ping irons. You know, it is a very small, compact head, as I've just sort of mentioned. So if you don't like looking at a small head, it sometimes makes the ball look quite big, because it is really sort of compact, especially in those longer irons. They are quite sort of scary, but obviously when you're striking them, they feel amazing. So really good feeling golf club. Again, nice strike, really high, very similar to that first shot there, and again looking to stop pretty quick with a bit of control. So the shape of this head, as I said, it's quite compact, but a little bit more of a pointy toe section. I'll show you a couple of close-up images of that, a little bit of that pointy toe sort of section. We've got a sort of screw in the end of the club there, which isn't, I think we've seen this in the G700, obviously the bigger head version, and the i500 where it's actually hollow. This isn't hollow, it's one piece of metal which is forged, but you've just got that little bit of tungsten screw in that end section there, which just helps with a little bit of moving that or repositioning sort of weight, just to help a little bit on forgiveness, but not a lot. That's lovely, really nice. Okay, that's a lovely shot. Again, looks to be pretty consistent from that carry distance there between those shots. Obviously the pulley one went a little bit longer through my strike, so about 163, that last one. Okay, one more and then we'll move into the Titleist. Now it wasn't quite perfect. You're going to feel those slight mishits with these types of irons, but again, that's done pretty well. I mean, that's fractionally half a groove further down on that particular shot, but still hit the target just slightly left. Okay, that's the Ping Blueprint iron, lovely club. Let's move into the new Titleist 620MB. Okay, so moving into the Titleist, so brand new, literally just launched as I'm shooting this video, is the 620MB, the muscle back, pure out blade. And I have done a review video of this on my channel. Again, a link will be up there and you can go and check that out in a little bit more detail. But ultimately, a beautiful looking golf club, very classic blade club. And we know Titleist are very renowned. They've done it for many, many years of the blade iron, and they just keep sort of revamping it. They can't do a massive amount from year to year with a blade iron because there's not a lot, well, there's no technology really in it, apart from a little bit of shaping of the sole, the back section, but just very clean. And just a classic looking golf club, isn't it? So you put that down with the ball, very little offset again, thinnish top line, beautiful squat head. And I think the shaping of that is the biggest difference between this and the blueprint of the Ping. The toe section to me isn't quite as pointy and as sharp, a little bit more rounded in the Titleist, which I probably prefer. I think it's a nicer sort of softer shaping of that toe section there. A little bit more brighter on the chrome of the groove section there, so the grooves and the hitting area just stands out a little bit more against the Ping one. Okay, let's get this one hit again. 7 iron, this one, but this is 35 degrees of loft, so 1 degree weaker. And that's superb yet again. It feels great. It's a force club, and they just feel amazing, don't they? You know, I don't think there's anything better than hitting this type of club. Whether you're good enough to hit this consistently is another matter. Maybe you've got to decide that and go out and test, obviously, these yourselves. But I don't think there's anything as good as hitting a bladed iron. Oh, wow. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Good distance there. Really high flight again, as you'd expect. You know, 35 degrees nowadays is really weak, isn't it? From what we sometimes see a lot of their clubs. So definitely obviously going to see that higher flight, I think, for that skill player who would tend to go in this type of club. Knocking a ball down, as in lowering the ball flight, is so much easier than trying to hit it even higher. So the fact that these come out pretty high as a stock shot, great. Loads of stopping power, a bit more spin as you expect, ultimately controlling it, but then turning around into that wind, you think, well, I don't want it up there too much. A better player, skill player, can quite easily just knock that ball down. So that's where I think these irons are very much sort of aimed at those better players who have the ability to change that ball flight on command. But that just feels stunning. Ooh, just overdrawn that a little bit there. It's going to miss that green left. That's my bad shot, as many of you will know. Shame I've just put that one in there, but that's all what testing is about. I'm not a robot, unfortunately. If I was, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on the PGA Tour. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I could just hit that all day long. That feels amazing. Lovely bit of control as it comes into land again. So possibly what we'd maybe expect to see, obviously we've got 1 degree difference of loft, is a little bit more spin with a Titleist because of that extra degree, and maybe less distance. But I've been looking at that, I don't think there's going to be a massive amount in the distance. Obviously strike's just going to change that. So 1 degree, I think, for this type of player, these clubs are aimed at, isn't going to make a massive difference. Slightly up that left side again, but again the strike was good. Flight's beautiful. Yeah, just missing that left hand side of the green there. Okay, Titleist 620MB muscle back, Ping blueprint forged blade iron. Let's go look at some numbers against those two irons. Okay, so just going to have a quick look at the dispersion to start off with. So we can see here the red was the Ping iron and the blue was the Titleist. Now both set up exactly the same, so a couple of degrees upright, 1/2 inch longer, same shafts in there, so there's no difference of the spec of those two clubs, but just got the Titleist just working a little bit more right to left there. Again, that's probably more me. Many of you know my miss is a little bit more left bias than anything, so this particular test Ping just a little bit more accurate. They have one going left there, but obviously had two bigger misses left with the Titleist. So moving into the numbers, we've got the blueprint on the top, which so ball speed 120.5, on the ball speed, peaking out 123, launching around that 19-degree mark. So this type of lofted iron will see a slightly higher side maybe than normal. 7,000 on the spin, so as we'd expect, got loads of control coming in there, loads of height, peaking at 36 yards in its height and carrying at 166, so we know it's not going to be a huge distance club. So dispersion wise from front to back, 163 against 171, so we've got an 8 yard in that particular test back to front dispersion. Probably like to see that a little bit tighter with a 7 iron in all honesty, but again you'll be punished a little bit more those slight mishits with this type of iron than not. So this is where I think for those golfers who would love to play in a blade and think, well, yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to take the plunge, play with the blade, and they are missing that strike a little bit more, that is your punishment. You are going to get a bigger front to back dispersion, so just take note of that. Moving into the Titleist 121.2, so fraction quicker on the ball speed there, yet we had 1 degree less loft, so that's quite interesting there. So maybe just struck that a little bit better, but having said that, I did get a few more pulley ones to the left, so I'll have just closed the face a little bit. That'll have just brought a touch loft off, that just increases your ball speed, so got to take that into account. Launch at 18, similar, spin just coming down a fraction there, again that more right to left sort of bias that got that. You can see 913 on average left spin, so draw spin against 206 on average with the ping. That's where the ping was a little bit better on hitting the green. Had a couple of bigger misses there. You see 1100 and 1000 on that side spin, so that'll have brought that back spin number down a little bit, because we know right to left shape in the ball flight will always pull a little bit of spin off, so that's why that number's a little bit lower, even though the loft is 1 degree higher. Peaking out 35 yards, again a little bit lower because of the right to left shapes, and 168 couple of yards further, probably again because of the right to left sort of shapes. But front to back dispersion on the Titleist, we're looking from 165 to 170, so a little bit tighter on that dispersion there with the Titleist against the ping. Right, okay guys, so there we go. There's two sort of real classic blade irons. Maybe one from a bit of an underdog in that department, as I mentioned earlier, with the Ping blueprint, against probably the real sort of heavyweight, I would say, who's been out many years with the Titleist. So new Titleist 620MB, new Ping blueprint irons, both really good irons. Very much, I think, down to personal preference. Some guys influence more through the brand. You know, some guys buy into a brand a little bit more than others. Some will be very much through looks, and then performance wise you can see it's not really a great deal, and we wouldn't expect to be a great deal between those two clubs. Me personally, if I'm going to choose a winner out of those two, I would have to go with the Titleist. You know, I think just that shape and that toe section just meets my eye a little bit better. And to be honest, I know this doesn't make a lot of difference. I've said this in a few videos before. The back of it looks better, and I like that sort of bigger Titleist retro. That's not going to change the performance of the club, but it makes me feel better, possibly changing my performance. But I do like the shape of it. Feel of both clubs was sensational in all honesty, so that probably isn't going to change for me, and the numbers there aren't really going to split it. Even though I wasn't quite as accurate with the Titleist, I know that's a little bit of me, and I need to sort of work on my game as well. Let me know your thoughts, comment down below. Titleist 620MB, Ping blueprint, let me know your thoughts, comment down below. I'll reply to many of you as possibly I can. Also find some comments, any future videos you'd like me to try and do. I'll do my very best to try and get those out there. A lot of content coming your way as always, so if you haven't subscribed, smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, so as soon as the video lands you'll get a notification of that video, and you'll be one of the very first ones to watch it, so you will not miss a thing. Okay, appreciate you watching as always, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.